In 2026, strength will no longer be measured by how confident you appear or how loudly you express yourself. Real strength will be internal. It will be silent, steady, and deeply rooted in how well you can manage your inner world. Most people believe their problems come from the outside. They blame circumstances, people, timing, or luck. But the truth is much simpler and much harder to accept. The real battle is happening inside the mind. People are not defeated by failure itself. They are defeated by the emotions that follow failure. Fear convinces them to stop. Anger pushes them to make reckless decisions. Sadness drains their energy and focus. If emotions are left untrained, they take control, and once that happens, logic disappears. Your mind was meant to lead, but for many people, emotions have taken the steering wheel. They wake up feeling unmotivated, so they give up on discipline. They feel uncomfortable, so they avoid growth. They feel offended, so they react without thinking. Over time, these emotional reactions turn into habits, and those habits quietly shape an average life. This is why two people can face the same situation and end up with completely different outcomes. One reacts emotionally and collapses. The other responds consciously and grows stronger. Training your mind begins with awareness. You must recognize that emotions are temporary signals, not permanent truths. Just because you feel afraid does not mean you are in danger. Just because you feel unmotivated does not mean you should stop. Just because you feel angry does not mean you should speak. Emotions are information, not instructions. When you understand this, you regain control. You stop being a prisoner of how you feel in the moment. In 2026, life will test people more intensely than ever. Pressure will increase, expectations will rise, distractions will be everywhere. If you allow emotions to dictate your behavior, you will constantly feel overwhelmed and behind. But when your mind is trained, pressure becomes fuel instead of a burden. Challenges become opportunities instead of threats. You stop asking yourself emotional questions like, why does this feel so hard? And start asking strategic questions like, what is required from me right now? Mental strength does not come from avoiding emotions. It comes from standing steady while they pass through you. Like clouds moving across the sky, emotions change, but the sky remains. You are the sky, not the storm. When you train your mind to remember this, you stop panicking when emotions rise. You stop making life-altering decisions based on temporary feelings. You begin to respond with clarity instead of chaos. This is where true transformation starts. Not when life becomes easier, but when your mind becomes stronger than what you feel. In 2026, the people who rise will not be the most emotional. They will be the most aware. They will understand that mastering the mind is the foundation of mastering life. Training your mind to be stronger than your emotions does not mean becoming numb, cold, or disconnected. It means developing the ability to experience emotions without being controlled by them. Many people misunderstand emotional strength. They think strong people do not feel fear, anger, or sadness. In reality, strong people feel these emotions just as deeply as anyone else. The difference is that they do not allow emotions to make decisions on their behalf. They create space between what they feel and how they act. Most emotional damage happens when emotions speak first and the mind follows later. A sharp comment spoken in anger can destroy trust. A decision made in fear can close doors forever. A moment of insecurity can push someone to walk away from something that could have changed their life. Mentally strong individuals understand this, so they slow themselves down. They pause, they breathe, they allow the emotion to rise, peak, and fall without reacting impulsively. That pause is not weakness. It is discipline. One of the most powerful skills you can develop is emotional observation. Instead of saying, I am angry, you begin to say, I am experiencing anger. That small shift in language creates distance. It reminds you that the emotion is happening within you, not defining you. When fear appears, you do not run from it or fight it. You study it. You ask where it comes from and whether it is based on reality or imagination. Often, Emotions are echoes of P's experiences, not reflections of the present moment. Mentally strong people also understand that emotions are influenced by the body. Lack of sleep, poor nutrition, and constant stimulation weaken emotional control. When the body is exhausted, emotions become louder and logic becomes quieter. Training the mind requires respecting the body. Rest, movement, and stillness are not luxuries. They are tools for emotional mastery. When your nervous system is regulated, your mind can think clearly even under pressure. Another key principle of mental training is choosing response over reaction. Reaction is automatic and emotional. Response is intentional and thoughtful. Every time you choose a response, you strengthen neural pathways associated with self-control. Over time, calm becomes your default state. You no longer explode at small problems or collapse under stress. You begin to carry yourself differently. People can feel your stability without you saying a word. In 2026, emotional mastery will separate leaders from followers. When chaos spreads, the emotionally reactive will panic and scatter. The mentally trained will remain grounded and focused. Calm will become their advantage. This is how confidence is built, not through loud words, but through consistent inner control. When your mind leads and your emotions follow, you stop being a victim of circumstances and start becoming the architect of your actions. One of the most powerful ways to train your mind to be stronger and your emotions is by mastering the space between what happens to you and how you respond to it. This space may seem small, but it is where self-control, wisdom, and growth are built. Most people live in constant reaction mode. Something happens and they immediately feel offended, anxious, or overwhelmed. Before they realize it, they have spoken words they regret or made decisions they cannot undo. Mentally strong people do the opposite. They slow the moment down. Delayed reaction is not avoidance. It is intentional control. When a situation triggers you, your first job is not to fix it or respond to it. Your first job is to stabilize yourself. A few deep breaths, a brief walk, or even silence can interrupt an emotional surge. This pause allows the logical part of the brain to come back online. The more often you practice this, the easier it becomes. Over time, your nervous system learns that it does not need to panic at every challenge. Another critical method of mental training is mental rehearsal. High performers in every field use this technique. Before difficult conversations, stressful events, or moments of pressure, they visualize themselves calm, focused, and in control. They imagine responding with clarity rather than emotion. This trains the brain in advance. When the real moment arrives, the mind recognizes it and follows the practice pattern. What you repeatedly imagine, your brain prepares to execute. Your environment also plays a major role in emotional strength. The mind absorbs what it is exposed to daily. Constant negativity, conflict, and comparison will keep your emotions unstable. If you start your day with chaos, your emotional baseline becomes chaotic. Mentally strong individuals are selective about what they consume. They limit unnecessary noise. They protect their mornings. They choose content that reinforces discipline, clarity, and purpose. This is not isolation. It is self-respect. Daily structure is another hidden pillar of emotional mastery. When your days lack routine, your emotions run freely. When your days have structure, your mind feels safe and focused. Simple habits like consistent wake-up times, planned work sessions, and intentional rest create stability. That stability reduces emotional spikes. You feel less anxious because you know what comes next. Finally, understand that emotional strength is built through repetition, not perfection. You will still react emotionally at times. You will still feel overwhelmed or frustrated. The goal is not to eliminate emotion, but to shorten the time it controls you. If yesterday it took hours to calm down, today aim for minutes. If it took minutes, aim for seconds. Every improvement counts. In 2026, the people who succeed will not be the ones with perfect lives. They will be the ones who train their minds daily, quietly, and consistently. Emotional control is not dramatic. It is disciplined. And discipline, practiced long enough, becomes unbreakable strength. In 2026, The definition of strength will continue to shift. It will no longer be about how much you express, explain, or defend yourself. It will be about how steady you remain when life applies pressure. The strongest people will not be those who never feel emotion, but those who are no longer ruled by it. They will feel fear and still take action. They will feel anger and still choose wisdom. They will feel pain and still move forward with purpose. This is the highest level of mental training, allowing emotions to exist without allowing them to dominate your direction. When your mind becomes stronger than your emotions, your identity changes. You stop seeing yourself as someone who reacts and start seeing yourself as someone who chooses. You no longer rush to prove yourself or explain your feelings to everyone. You become selective with your energy and intentional with your words. Disrespect no longer pulls you into arguments. Rejection no longer defines your worth. Delays no longer create panic. You understand that emotions are temporary, but character is permanent. This level of control creates a quiet confidence that cannot be faked. You walk differently. You speak calmly. You listen more than you react. People sense your stability without you announcing it. This is because emotional mastery creates inner order. And when there is order inside, chaos outside loses its power over you. You stop being easily triggered because you are no longer seeking validation from the outside world. Your sense of value comes from alignment with your principles, not from emotional approval. Another powerful shift happens when your mind leads your emotions. You begin to trust yourself. You know that no matter what you feel, you will handle it. This self-trust removes fear of uncertainty. You stop overthinking worst-case scenarios because you are confident in your ability to respond wisely when the time comes. This is what creates resilience. Not the absence of struggle, but the belief that you can remain grounded through it. In 2026, the world will continue to be unpredictable. Opinions will be loud, information will be overwhelming, emotional manipulation will be everywhere. Those who lack mental strength will feel constantly drained and confused. But those who have trained their minds will remain centered. They will not chase every emotion or react to every provocation. They will conserve their energy for what truly matters. This is not about becoming distant or emotionless. It is about becoming unshakable. When your mind is trained, emotions become signals, not commands. They inform you, but they do not control you. You feel deeply, but you act deliberately. This balance is the foundation of a powerful life. As 2026 unfolds, make a commitment to mental training. Protect your focus, respect your inner space. Choose calm over chaos again and again. When your mind leads and your emotions follow, you do not just survive the year, you rise above it.